Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and thank you for clicking on the video. As you saw in that intro, yes, the orange shards do work with Mesa. It does kind of intermingle with some of the already existing builds that will give you red crits with Mesa. It is not as consistent as some of the other ones, but I do believe it's a little bit cheaper and a little bit easier. However, there are some stipulations revolving the uh, orange shard, and we'll talk about that in the video, but let's show off the build and we'll go from there. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is, yes, I have 5 Tau Forge shards. These are for energy because I am not running Prime Flow. This is just for movement. Mesa is really nice with movement, even though I'm not using the Mesa's Waltz Augment mod. I do have Rolling Guard, and it is kind of nice to roll further away from the enemies so that you can position yourself in a way that will allow your regulators to get the widest view of the enemies in front of you so that you can activate your 4 and kill them. And then lastly, of course, the orange one. Now, for some reason, it is saying that it maxes out at 75%. That is not true. It is maxing out at 50%. Same as the base shard. I do believe this is a bug, so it is possible that this build will get even more consistent and better in the future. However, I did want to put this video out because I know a lot of people, specifically on Reddit and some of the comments, and myself included, were curious about how the Topaz shard is interacting with Mesa specifically. So let's show off the build and go from there. First, let's talk about the arcanes. We have Arcane Avenger. This is mandatory for the build, obviously. This is giving us a flat crit chance for everything. Her regulators, her weapons, and then we have Combat Discipline to constantly keep Arcane Avenger procced. We have Arcane Velocity. If you're not running this on Mesa, then you're not playing Mesa. This is by far the most mandatory arcane on any frame of all time. This just increases the fire rate for the regulators. Regulators have infinite ammo. So if you have higher rate of fire, then you have higher DPS. It's a no-brainer. You have to use this arcane. It's non-negotiable. Now for the actual mods, we do have Augur Secrets and Augur Message. If you get Augur Seeker on your secondary, you can increase this total from 80% energy to 120, which is really nice because you will be casting all of these abilities quite often, specifically the Peacemaker one. Now, like I said, I'm not using Mesa's Waltz. That is just a preference thing. You could throw that on there. You don't have to have Prime Sure-Footed. This is just my preference. But for Peacemaker, it's really nice because when you're going in and out of it, you are constantly activating, overshields because you are spamming all your abilities a lot. You've got Nourish, so you don't have to worry about the efficiency. We also have Prime Redirection instead. Now, like I said, we are giving ourselves overshields. We have Rolling Guard, so you really don't need to worry about any extra health. We're not using Arcane Blessing or anything. I did take this into Steel Path. I did take this against the Murmur. You have no trouble at all. I even took this into Netracells with every single debuff applied to me. You have no issues whatsoever. Just make sure you're killing things. Now, this is actually a new mod, Energy Nexus. I'm not sure where I got this. It might have been given to me when I purchased some of the Tomb mods, or if it dropped from the new tile set. That may have been a thing too. I'm not really sure. I just had it. But the cool thing about this is that you're constantly giving yourself energy regen. I do have Zenarek on, so it's kind of redundant, but it's also nice to have energy regen on top of Nourish. They work hand in hand together, and you're not always going to be surrounded by enemies. And of course, we all know there are tons of enemies that reduce your energy, prevent your abilities from going off, all this sort of BS. So it's a flex slot. You could actually throw in Prime Flow, and then you don't have to use those blue Archon shards. But again, it comes down to preference. I encourage you guys to leave comments. Mid-max the build, say things that you might think might be better for the build. I encourage it. Leave a comment. Now, there are a couple things I learned from some other Warframe YouTubers, specifically Nightmare Frame. I know I bring him up a lot, but I do actually really like his builds. Number one is the ability mod Reninforced Bond. This is actually really easy to proc. I know my dog already has 1200, so I'm already taking advantage of this. But let's say you don't, and you're using the Adarza cat. And this is just a great example because I actually don't even have 2 mod slots in here. So she's got 1,000 shields, but when you utilize the Reinforced Bond, you obviously are going to need 1,200 shields, but if you read the bottom text, reloading restores 150 overshields. And when you use a weapon that can burn ammo really quickly, my preference is the Grakata, you can actually use the Wild Frenzy augment, burn all the mags, and reload it super quickly thanks to this mod, Tactical Reload. This is actually kind of funny. You could just alt fire this into some enemies, and if you notice, impact is the highest status on this weapon, the IPS. You could actually get additional regen thanks to this. It's sort of a niche thing, but basically you fire all the ammo, put it away, and it'll reload automatically and allow your companion to have overshields or at least 1,200. So this is what it looks like. So you'll notice that my Kavat has 1,000. If we burn all the ammo, swap off, now she has almost 17. Now my secondary of choice is actually the Furus, and the reason why is because it actually allows you to have pure heat during its incarnate form, which makes the Topaz shard scaling very easy to get to. However, like I said, it is currently bugged. For some reason, it doesn't capture some of the gains properly. Sometimes you can kill 5 enemies, get nothing. You can kill 2, and you get quite a bit. Like I said, the Topaz shard is bugged. I don't know if you actually need to kill them with the heat, kill enemies that have heat on them. It's unclear. It's not working properly. But like I mentioned, we did actually throw Augur Seeker in here right before I hit record on this portion. But as you see, 120 energy spent is converted to shields. Very, very nice for Mesa to get some overshields. The main thing you need to focus on, though, is secondary Outburst. This is what's giving us a big bump in our crit chance, thanks to Ceramic Dagger and the way this thing works. This is also pretty mandatory for the build, thanks to the increased crit chance and combo multiplier. Anytime you get a kill, it says primary kill, but it does work with the regulators. So if you get kills with regulators, you can get up to 100 stacks, giving you an extra 100 combo, plus 20 here. And then obviously you want to throw in Corrupt Charge and Covert Lethality. So when all is said and done, you have 9 times combo multiplier. Very, very nice. Now, that will give you a big bump in the crit chance towards secondary Outburst, so about 180%, which will increase your regulator crit chance, giving you those reds that you saw. I do want to mention an alternative companion could be actually the Hound. Nice thing about this is it's so good at utilizing the bond mods, stripping armor, applying debuffs, causing the innate abilities to recycle over and over because of how often you are applying those statuses and then killing them with Mesa, keeping the Mesa shields up. Like I said, the enemies are constantly getting CC'd, they're getting their weapons disarmed off of them, and then of course it already has a standard 1200 shield, which is again increasing the fire rate of the regulators. But of course you can still give the companion here overshields as well. But it's really, really nice. This is the build I'm using. You'll notice these mods aren't even maxed. You could really put in, if you need, some loot or whatever, adjust as you need. But this is the build. It's nice. Like I said, you can really utilize all the bond mods effectively with this Hound. Now, for the regulator build, I don't have heat on here. Again, I'm utilizing the Furus to get all my heat procs. I would say, though, if they happen to fix it, this build is subject to change due to the fact that, as I mentioned before, it's very difficult to actually build the crit chance. It's only going up to 50, even though the shard says 75 on Terraforged. Not really sure what's going on here. I still wanted to get this video out to just show you an early draft or like a beta test version of this build and how it can actually work effectively. But for the regulators, we just have corrosive on here. We have anemic agility. This is something maybe you could take out in place of prime heated charge if they end up fixing it, because obviously we do want the heat to scale very, very high. We would obviously just need to adjust these two mods to be corrosive heat. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, the shard is semi-working right now, but I think once it's actually fully operational, I think it would be very, very good on Mesa. As you saw in the intro, again, it does work when it works, right? I think it's quite good. We just need to make sure that we keep telling DE, hey, please fix this. But overall, leave a comment down below what you think about the build, where it can improve, or if you liked it, leave a like, etc. But I appreciate you stopping by, watching till the end if you're still here. Check out some of my other videos on my channel. Subscribe if you like, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.